We are gonna go to Bristol. So that's a little intro on who I am. I am coming to you live from Daytona. I live just north of Daytona Speedway, and not close enough to hear them, but close enough to get there in a few minutes. So anyway, I've raced my whole life, whether it have been on the timing and scoring side. Grew up in the garages watching them be built. My favorite part is actually the chassis side and the timing and scoring and getting those tenths and knowing what to change where and when and what it does. So I'm always willing to at least give my opinion. I have never worked on a Bush or Cup or anything like that, but I've worked on late models back at home in New Hampshire. We raced at Monadnock and Claremont in the 80s. After, all my dad's career, then my husband had been a driver, and then life goes on, and I got another husband, and he was a CDL driver, and we got him a job in NASCAR, Dad did. And he drove from 95 until I think 2004. We divorced in 97. And then I got away from racing for a while and moved back down to Daytona about 5 years ago and got back into it. I'm writing my dad's book. I'm a racing historian, I guess, now, at least of this era, between like 60s to the 90s. Got a pretty good handle on where things were when. I've been to about 56 tracks last time I counted, and saw just about 1,000 races in person, and almost every race since I was 16 was in the infield, in the pit area, because that was where I liked to be, around where the action is and the pit strat and that hustle to get your car back out there if you get a problem, or changing out rear end gears on your deck of your trailer, or changing a head gasket between warm-ups and the feature and missing the heat altogether. Just that do-or-die attitude in the pits, and that was what I like most about motorsports and iRacing now, where my son iRaces. I like that a lot too, and yeah, I want to get into a little bit of building with the setups a little more. I'm gonna ask my son to show me how to log into his stuff and monkey around when no one's around and see what I can do. And anyway, Bristol is one of my favorite tracks because Dad did so well there. Now I'm going to show you the first race. I'm going to do Cup, then Bush. Hi, Chief. Good morning. I'm going to do Cup and Bush. And Cup and Bush. 4 races. I might, if you see the flag up, that's my be right back. And anyway, in the corner where my picture is, I'll have my flag. And anyway, yeah, I'm going to do a 95 Bristol. This one here, Dad was, let me see, 95. Why am I getting confused? Steve Grissom. Dad was working with Grissom in both the Cup and the Bush. And I was seeing this is the Bristol replay, but I think there's a qualifying. Yes, absolutely. There's where we're going. We're going here first.
Chicken finger taco.
And we'll get rid of this ad. Sorry about that. mute. All right, let's go to Bristol.
Welcome you to Bristol International Raceway.
And anyone that's watching Chief USN has a site, Rose City. Let me see if I can shout it out.
That's right. 1 lap, 2 laps running.
God, already.
Do it in about 15 and a half seconds.
Getting shown the love already this morning.
Trying to qualify for tomorrow's night race. At 7:30 on ESPN Classic, you'll see the Busch Grand National Series. 250 laps, 36 cars. Not a mild thunder, but a rolling thunder. 36.
Hi, Benny.
Racetrack. But right now, let's qualify.
Oh, let me pause a second. That's my dad right here in this light blue shirt. And he's working with that Meineke car, Steve Grissom, for Larry Hedrick. After he left Moroso, the last race at Moroso that he was at was, I think, the Glen was the first one he wasn't, so whatever. So the last week. So this is his new week with Grissom. When they were in Indianapolis, so my father had said, he stayed back at the shop and helped them prepare the cars for both Busch and Cup. And he was not a crew chief or anything. I believe that it was somebody else, and Tommy, I think. But anyway, he now has gotten advanced in his career where he goes to the track as a chassis consultant, or, goes either to the shop, sets up the car, goes to the track. And that's what he did for most of, the time. If he wasn't with a team permanent, he was hired week by week, especially in the modifieds, all through the 70s. He was hired race by race or for a certain project or whatever. So he's more of an engineer in his later life, and that's, shock specialist and stuff like that, and front-end chassis design is his specialty, getting the tires to all go in the right direction. That's a good way to put it. So here he is. That's my dad anyway back there. So that was my clue. This was the race he started with Grissom at. And both Busch and Cup. I'll play them both. This is Cup, and I'll play Busch next.
See them run their fastest laps of the day. Jeff Gordon was telling me this afternoon.
Now this buzzing
and run as hard as I can and only turn a 15,
is
60,
incoming.
65, but I strap in for qualifying. I go.
Maybe it's just his mic. We'll see if it switches.
Second, and Jeff says I have no idea how I'm able to do that.
Hey, John, I know how to do that. During practice, they breathe. In qualifying,
boy, that humming is horrible.
15 and a half seconds. Let's go to the top.
Maybe it'll disappear with that VCR.
Hey, thanks a lot, BP. We are up here. What a great seat we're going to have, and a great seat you're going to have for qualifying. And just like the race here, everything happens in a hurry on the high banks at Bristol.
Boy, it does happen in a hurry here, and going around here as fast as they do, they can't make a mistake. Just one little slip can cost them 1 or 2 tenths of a second, and only about 2 tenths of a second will separate first and 20th tonight.
3 out of the last 4 races have been won from the pole. We talk about track position. Not going to be important tonight. If you make the field, that's what's critical tonight, because 43 cars are set for the Battle of Bristol. And remember, you can't win the race if you don't qualify.
Oh God, I'm gonna get. I gotta mute that, or it'll give me a. Every time that they have one of these, I have to go in when I down. That's so cute. Watermelon hats. And there wasn't even a Chastain in the business yet. Yeah, this song will get... I'll have to go in when I go to YouTube and mute it and all that anyway. Whoops. Checking. Just trying to save myself some work. Baby Labani.
It's called Thunder Valley because they're going to thunder on the high banks tonight. Winston Cup Busch Pole qualifying. Round number 22 of 31 events on the $38 billion Winston Cup Tour. Great crowd on hand. We're going to come back with our first qualifier as the Battle of Bristol.
What I was going to say is about Rose City.
Getting set for Winston
Rose City Trails, right?
Take a look at the qualifying order. The first 15 going to go out.
It's a project if you like wildlife.
In the field, 32 by virtue of qualifying positions and time spots and 4 provisional starters. That's Terry Labonte. He'll start out in the last, there's the next 30. Rich Bickle will be going in 30th in the car number 40.
And Jerry, this first driver, Terry Labonte, had some awfully good practice laps here this afternoon, so he's going to set the tone for the qualifying here this evening.
And as you saw, some of the cars that will go late, like Mark Martin's car number 6 that set on the pole here in the spring, and Dale Jarrett in the car 28 have been awfully quick in practice. Here's Terry Labonte taking the white flag.
First lap, 15.392.
124.662 miles per hour for Labonte. Remember, in the short track qualifying, they get 2 laps, 2 consecutive laps of qualifying. A little bit slower second time by 15.611. So we'll take his first lap.
There we go.
392 seconds.
Jerry, that's a new event record already here tonight. It's not a track record. Chuck Bowen owns the track record that was set in April of 1994.
Here's the car number 29, Steve Grissom. Here's Meineke Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Same car he finished 6th with at Rockingham early in the year. And mentioned the event record of 15:45 set last August by Harry Gant.
There's the car we're with. I was going to look and see.
Good lap for Steve Grissom on his first lap.
15.596. 123.0.
596.
Grissom.
And that equals the best practice laps that we saw here today. Mark Martin returned about 15:60.
A little bit slower second time by 15.718 seconds, so his first lap will stand.
Now, folks, if you were with us at Michigan last week during qualifying for the Goodwrench 400 there, they only get 1 lap on the tracks that are 1 mile or longer, but on short track, this is a half-a-mile track here at the Bristol International Raceway, so they get 2 laps, take the best of the 2.
And the only exception to that rule are Talladega, Daytona, and Charlotte, where they give the drivers 2 laps on the super speedways. And obvious reasons the drivers feel like they need that time to get the car up to speed with the restrictor plates at Talladega and Daytona. And Charlotte, the drivers have asked for a second lap to make it a little more consistent with tire heat and performance.
BW, what's the winningest driver on this racetrack?
12 victories here at Bristol International Raceway and 4 pole positions. The winningest active driver when it comes to starting on the inside front row. Not a bad effort for DW, 15.689 seconds. 122.302 miles per hour.
He picked it up a little bit on his second lap.
Down to 15.594 makes him second quickest thus far in qualifying. Let's go down to Benny Parsons.
Hey, track record. What about that?
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's pretty good.
Event record anyway.
Okay, event record. Hey, our Kellogg Chevy was fast in practice. You don't ever know about qualifying because it cools off, the track gets a little quicker. That was a good lap for us, but there's some other guys.
Good morning, Pops.
I told those guys that you'd have to hold your breath. Did you breathe during that qualifying run?
Not the first lap, I did the second lap.
That's why you slowed down, see?
That's right.
Okay, folks.
That's Terry Labonte down visiting with Benny Parsons, and as you heard Ned say, that's a new event record, breaking the record set by Harry Gant last August. Here is Brett Bodine.
My dad was helping the 29 on this day.
Had an engine problem this afternoon in practice, Jerry.
Might have been there because...
But he has a pretty good lap on his first time around.
No, I take it back. I was there on qualifying day.
Quickest. A little over 100.
Because we were there with Moroso. My ex was driving Moroso Fina car for Jimmy Spencer Racing. The next race I'll play, I was at. Well, I was here on qualifying, but I wasn't there for the cup race because we were already home because we were running Busch. My team was running Busch, and my dad's team ran Cup and Busch.
It's good to get that fast lap in early. Others sometimes might try a little bit too hard and not do as well. You can definitely overdrive this track as you can most of them, except for Daytona and Talladega.
Mike Wallace trying to qualify. And Jimmy Dunleavy owns Holly Myers' Ford Thunderbird.
Pretty good lap for Mike Wallace on his first lap.
15.627 seconds for Mike Wallace makes him 4th quickest. Remember, 2 consecutive laps, green flag first, then the white flag, and now it's...
I'll be right back. I just got to grab something real quick. Whoops, shoot.
drops back to 15.742 seconds. So his first lap at 15.627, 122.787 miles per hour will be the lap we take for Mike Wallace, which will put him in 4th spot of the 5 cars that have qualified.
Next car out is Derek Cope in the Bobby Allison Motorsports Straight Air Ford number 12. Let's go to the pits with Benny.
DW, that's pretty good for an old guy like you.
Hey, I was gassing her up pretty good, man. Been running real well, and of course, you know, if I don't run good here, everybody gets real down on me.
Yeah, I've been up since 4 a.m. I was watching these last night a little bit. Make sure they didn't buzz bad.
So hopefully tonight maybe we can hang in the top 10.
I'll be right back.
Be a good omen for us. It's been 3 years, man.
How many was it you won in a row here that time?
7 in a row.
7 in a row.
You know, we hear people talk about they finish here consistently. I'm finishing one thing, but winning 7 in a row, I don't guess I'll ever get over that.
Even as old as he is, he remembers that, guys.
That's DW, but Derek Cope, second quickest car in qualifying thus far, 15.524 seconds. It is Labonte and Cope with Rusty coming up. Back in a moment. Back at Bristol International Raceway, Bush pole qualifying, and the driver who won this race a year ago, the Goodies 500, pulls away. Rusty Wallace, the Miller Genuine Draft Ford Thunderbird, a 5-time winner at this extremely demanding high-banked oval. His only win in the Goodies 500 was coming last August when he held off a charge from a couple other cars, Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt, to win the event. Thus far, our quickest qualifier, Terry Labonte, 15.392 seconds. He is quick. Derek Cope is second, Darrell Walter third, Steve Grissom fourth, and Mike Wallace is fifth, with Brett Bodine in 6th spot. Here is Rusty.
Rusty with what I believe is second fastest time. Let's see. Yes, it is. 15.476.
His speed 123.986 miles per hour. First time by. That's a pole speed on top, and Rusty's speed on the bottom. Can he beat it?
Nope, slower the second time around.
15.597 seconds. So we'll take his first lap at 15.476, 123.98. So that'll put him on the outside front row thus far in qualifying, as 7 cars have taken the green flag.
This next car is Joe Rutten, number 95.
Joe Rutten won the Super Truck event here back in June, which we saw on ESPN, driving for Ernie Irvan. Driving Ernie Irvan's Ford No Fear Super Truck in the NASCAR Super Truck Series by Craftsman.
Okay, I'm back.
By for Rutten, the Shoney's in Ford, 15.721 seconds.
I had to go take care of a few things because I was so busy setting up. I got my energy drink.
That's about the same, Gary.
Almost identical, about 400 slower, 15.764 seconds. His speed back to 121.7. We'll take his first lap at 15.
How are these comparing? Like a 15.3 is the pole. That's Terry.
8 cars who have qualified.
Dad's car went a 15.59.
This maybe last year, pretty good run, 47, second right now.
Well, I'm pretty happy with it. It's handling real good. I've been a little slow this morning, like I was slower than I thought I should. I've been like 3rd and 4th quick all day long. Everybody wants to be the fastest car, but I don't know what it is. It's going to race real good, I know, though.
Think it's going to race good?
No, I don't think I know it will.
Okay, he knows it, guys.
He's confident. Has a lot of confidence.
That's the only thing Rusty doesn't lack, his confidence. I know. Jimmy Hensley, 1992 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year, and they had his first lap.
Yeah, folks, get out the program now. Got
Yeah, he was.
this week a little bit different from last week. Jimmy Hensley back into 32 was ended a little bit earlier this year. Some driver changes this week. Greg Sachs had driven this car a few times.
Hensley's first lap, 15.830 seconds, is quicker than his second lap of 15.94. So we'll take his first one at 121.213 and miles per hour. That makes him 9th quickest among the 9 cars that have qualified. And take a look now. Hensley was in the 22 car, and Ward Burton was in the 31. Now Ward goes to the 22. And where does Sachs go? He went to the 31 car, although David Green practiced the car today. Jimmy Hensley shuffles down to the 32 car. And if you understood all that, you'd probably do your own income tax. So anyway, here's a guy who hadn't gone anywhere. and is not going anywhere. Michael Waltrip, the Pennzoil Pontiac.
Today he had some pretty good practice laps this afternoon too, Jerry. And he's just turned a good lap here right now. He's going to be close.
Michael very close. Good qualifying effort. 15.438 seconds, second quickest. This is the car that he finished third in the Charlotte World 600 back in May. One of his favorite race cars, Pontiac Grand Prix. Second lap.
A little slower.
A little bit slower, 15.589 seconds. So, hey, not a bad first lap, though. 15.438, 124.291 miles per hour. And Mikey's going to be smiling when he sees old BP here in a moment. Right now, he's on the outside, front row, next to Terry Labonte.
Okay, here's one of those drivers that we talked about a moment ago that switched rides this week. The Hardy's car now being driven by Greg Sachs.
Now, David Green, current Busch Series champion, actually practiced this car till about 1 or 1:30 today because Greg Sachs' flight was canceled, had an engine problem, engine malfunction. He finally arrived at the racetrack about 2 o'clock, got some practice laps in, so hasn't had a lot of time in this Hardy Chevrolet.
And I believe he's going to have the slowest time of those qualified so far. Yes, he does have.
Understandable, of course, the fact that he hadn't had about half a dozen laps in the race car. 15.915 seconds.
Picks it up some on the second lap here.
A little bit quicker, 15.857, so that's a lap of record for Sachs. 121.006 miles per hour. He still will be 11th among 11 cars that have qualified.
Car number 31 has no provisionals left. Provisionals that were awarded by NASCAR. The car has used its up. Now, here's a guy also that ran fast this afternoon in practice, Ted Musgrave. Family Channel 4.
Jack Rouse, Shoal Machine, Howard Comstock, and the crew doing a whale of a job. Musgrave currently 5th in the point standings, having a great season.
Good lap.
Not a surprise at all that Musgrave turns a 15.517 second lap. That puts him 4th quickest, but the car got real loose.
Yeah, he got high up here in turns 3 and 4 too, so this next lap is not going to be too good.
As you predicted, Ned, a little bit slower by 0.4 of a second, 15.979 seconds. So his first lap at 123.658 miles per hour, good enough to put Ted Musgrave in the outside of row 2. Terry Labonte, our quickest qualifier. Michael Waltrip outside row.
Greg Sachs has retired down in our area at some times too. I don't know if he's a snowbird where he flies back and forth. But this is a recent picture with it in the last 2 years of Greg.
Round 1 of qualifying, remember.
Right there at Duncan's. They meet every Monday
Qualifying speed.
if they're in the area.
Provisional positions.
All the racers. So, yeah, that's Greg.
And of course, those top 20 tonight get locked in.
As you know, I like to show photos if they're from our collection or our family or whatever. Or from the NASCAR community.
First time by.
I try to find pictures of things that apply to my dad.
Did you see 15.3?
Or me.
Second lap for Schrader. He sure did, Ned, by about 0.04 of a second, 15.621 seconds, 122.835 miles per hour for Ken.
Hi, yeah, I'm glad you're back. I think I could snooze ads now. I don't know. It's not come up that I can yet, but I try to snooze them as much as this thing lets me. I just barely keep enough to keep me active in their system.
Watch Jeff Lenard get an attempt. Let's check in with BP.
Hey, guys, the outside pole sitter, Michael, great lap.
Yeah, it was a good lap.
I appreciate y'all being here.
Mentally be ready for this deal today. Earlier this year, we used a spot here. We used spots in Richmond and Martinsville, and we're 8th in the points, so we can't be using spots. We're about out, and we got to make the races to run up front and gather up some more points and try to get to the top 5. So when I got ready to go qualify, I asked God to help me, and I asked Buffy to help me, and the main people to help me with the crew. I mean, they had the car set up perfect. It just drove itself. All I had to do was hammer it. And Benny, I know how to hammer it. I can handle that part.
You got that part down hammer.
Yeah. And fortunately, they gave me a good handling car, and I was able to hammer it. I wish I could have hammered a little harder, maybe beat Terry, but we're not complaining. I told Darryl all I wanted to do was when we walked over that third turn bank, when qualifying was over tonight, I just wanted to know I had a time good enough to stand on tomorrow so I could sleep tonight. And people just what this is like in here, but you know, only the strong survive, and I think my mental attitude, along with the crew's preparation of the car, gave us what we needed.
Attaboy, Michael. Good run.
Thank you.
The main thing is wanting to be on the
Mentioned that qualifying just a moment ago, Jeff Bodine.
front stretch pits if you possibly can. That's usually everyone's goal.
Seconds, good enough for 6th quickness in the X-side court. Here's Jeremy Mayfield. First lap was 15.651, 122.599, and that is what lap it will take. He slowed down second time by 15.711. So Mayfield continues a pretty good qualifying effort. He's 11th quickest right now, once again qualifying in the top 10 at Michigan.
His team manager rented the apartment beside ours in the development when we lived at Country Club Apartments, which was where all the race teams back then lived. I don't know if they do now or not, but
Second, satisfied with that?
I'm pretty satisfied. That's quick.
it was
I just got a little loose out there.
cool to know like everybody in the area. It was kind of, you just knew everybody. And actually one day they had a
Know what we need to do here. You know, we got to get our good points standing.
spot open on the plane going to Talladega, so I flew on the King Air, and
You know, like I say, it's
first time I've ever flown in a 7-seater. It was pretty cool though.
Fourth, Jerry.
And I met his wife. It was his first wife, and he was very pleasant and kind, and
Qualified. We'll be back with more qualifying.
I only, I don't really like to bother people on race day because they really got a lot on their mind, but I did ask him, what does it feel like to drive Talladega? Because that just, to me, like I had never been there, and
One of 20
this was my first time going, and he said that
saying that.
it's like you're watching TV. He said it's like you're watching TV, and you don't realize how fast you're going until you have to stop. But he said it takes a lot of focus to not,
Bobby Helen, 15.8.
zone out.
20.831. That'll put in.
It'll hypnotize you because you're watching TV. That's what he said. It's like watching TV.
Slightly 15.840 seconds. One
He was very shy and quiet, and
miles per hour.
his wife was very pleasant. Like,
In 15th spot. 15th out of 16 cars.
he had the two
Once again.
pilot, co-pilot. Her seat was facing me, and mine was facing her,
An event.
and he was sitting across the aisle
Again.
facing an empty seat, I believe. And I think that's all of us that flew that day.
Greg Sachs. As Bobby Helen has moved into the 15th position.
Racing got me to be able to, because of my timing and scoring knowledge from as a child, I was given a stopwatch at Christmas, But I learned to be able to do a lot of things like that, and a lot of it was volunteer, and I didn't get paid, but some of it I did get paid. Like when I worked for Lake and I worked for Bodine, I got paid on both of them. But I did a lot of volunteer scoring too.
Get up in the top 7 or 8.
Slowed down in the second lap.
Lost about 2.5 tenths, 15.870 seconds. Spencer's lap, 120.907. So his first lap at 122.8.
Now Jimmy's driving for Travis Carter here, but he's driving for my ex-husband's team at Moroso
Exactly the same speed that Ken
on the Busch race for this same weekend. So that's how I know I'm there for qualifying, because qualifying was done on Saturday before we raced.
Point standings gets the positions that they
And we were with the FINA car, the number 20. My dad was with them for about 6 weeks.
time, but now
He's actually credited, I noticed on Racing Reference, for the whole year, but he was actually there for 6 weeks, and then he went to Grissom.
Quality care machine, Ford Thunderbird. Bud Moore prepared car and old machine, Dick Trickle.
15.690 his first lap.
122 points.
I met him a few times. I got nice stories about him
That also.
from just the locals in the area. When he would frequent this one bar in Charlotte, he would always buy this bartender girl
Posted in the
a Grand Marnier,
thus far in qualifying.
and
Cars have run 40
she told me that story.
qualifying. Remember, we only take 20 tonight. Final round of qualifying starts at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Here's Todd Bonine, Factory Stores Ford Thunderbird. And as you watch Todd run, John's with his older brother.
Currently 6 right now, Jeff Bodine. Last week at Michigan, you guys told me that it couldn't wait to get here to Bristol. Is that true?
love this little track. A little warm right now, but no, we love this race, especially the night race. It's so pretty. Folks come out here and just fill this place up. They keep building grandstands. They need more. Can't build enough, but we're looking forward to it. The Excite Sport is running good. That's a pretty good qualifying effort. Still, we're disappointed because we'd like to be the fastest. We need a push pole this year. We'll keep working at it. We're getting closer. We're going to get one, but the race should be really fun and exciting. They always are here. Yeah, I can second that, Jerry, very much.
And his brother qualified in 18th spot, 15.854 seconds, 121.029 miles per hour.
And that was on his first lap, Jerry. He really got loose on his second lap, Todd Bodine did.
And here's John Andretti. What a run he had going last week at Michigan after a great qualifying effort. Was running among the top 3 or 4 with 70 laps into the race, and suddenly the engine went away. The Kmart Little Caesars Ford Thunderbird. Manifest Haas Racing Team, Tim Brewer, the crew chiefs.
After I get done with my broadcasts, I do upload them to YouTube and actually get quite a few views on YouTube of it. So I'm really happy about that, and I appreciate anyone who will be watching this on YouTube later. I really appreciate all the attention I've gotten in the last couple months. It makes me happy that somebody's interested in all these old stories.
At 15.32 seconds, 124.
This is all the wives and everything you see in the pits and everything. They grow up and end up old like this.
Most of the second lap.
It's funny.
They're either
you think it would last forever. You just, when you're in it, you feel like it would last forever. And I hardly ever took pictures or nothing back then. So my photos of me being there is if I happen to catch me in the background and I do a screenshot.
The silver bullet. Then you can pick it up next time, Bob.
Yeah, that's because it's petty, and they have the petty blue usually and the red.
0 miles per hour.
But
and Kyle Petty clocks in at 13th spot in the silver.
I'm trying to think if it was like
in a moment.
You know what it is? The day glow. It's a night race, so that's why it looks weird. Like all of these cars are painted to show up at night.
Classic Ford Thunderbird.
If that makes sense. Like they will look totally different in the race, which I'm playing next. This is like a 45-minute
short track. 1995
qualifying.
First time by.
And that's how I actually found out for sure my dad was in it, because of him being in the beginning of the qualifying order. He was on pit road with the car, and I know that he said he was hired as a chassis consultant, I guess, that race, or this, the rest of the season.
Darren Cope sitting 5th right
Pretty
now in
sure.
the qualifying order. I figured you'd be happy, but you're what, disappointed?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed.
And at the end of 95,
The straight road forward was a little better race car than it showed.
I believe he went to
Messed up a little getting in one. I didn't want to get on the apron. I got in a little hot.
Ron Parker and helped Mike Dillon set up a
Good effort.
race shop
Here, so
up in Mooresville.
the top 10 and a front stretch spot will be okay.
See, I lived in Mooresville. When I moved to Mooresville,
In the race here, Jerry.
all y'all racers and everything that live there now
Position that you're watching Morgan Shepherd, Sitco.
wouldn't have understood what it was like when it only just had one Hardee's and a Shell station at exit 136.
Bobby Hill and Todd Bodine and Greg Sachs.
Or exit 36. 136 is the highway, I guess. It used to be Highway 136. They did Route 3 for Dale. That's where I'm getting confused. Yeah, exit 36 off at I-77. That exit,
With a couple of interstate
which is like 8 lanes now or something, had just a Hardee's and a Shell station. Across the street was a little tiny Kmart.
I don't see anybody beating.
That was it. You go up Rolling Hills Road,
I'd be happy with that.
and there were like maybe 10 race shops.
You running practice?
Come up over the hill, and Brett Bodine was on the left, and the 75 one there, and then
Now, but maybe the weather will
across the way was the 30, the Pennzoil.
down. I'll be okay.
And then you take a right, and they had the new museum, which I helped them set that up. North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame Museum, I helped set up in the very beginning of it.
They like killed me after lunch.
Well, yeah, I ought to play the. They have some really good videos of a tour in there, and it's grown a lot since when I was
Good
there.
run for Hutch Strickland and Kenny Bernstein on Quaker State.
But Penske was across the street, Moroso was across the street. That's Roush now, Roush's engine shop, I believe.
Watch. Ned, you had him blocked this morning.
And
Yes, he was. He was very fast this morning, early in
yeah, it's so different today.
16:34.
It's like a racing mecca now.
60 was the fastest, but I've forgotten about Gordon running what he did. He's going to be close. Right here is going to be close.
And Jeff Gordon doesn't do it the first time by 15.472. That puts him third. Remember, it's Labonte and Michael Walsh at the top two. Got to be the 39. 15.392. Can he do it?
No, he didn't do it the second lap.
And he did not. 15.503. So we'll take Jeff Gordon's first lap at 15.472 seconds. 124.
472. It's really fast.
Point leader.
I think we qualify midfield. I'm not remembering exactly.
Joe Rutten. And out to try to unseat him is Ricky Rudd in the tie Ford number 10.
Two Hendrick cars in the top three qualifying. If you're scoring at home, remember Terry Labonte, Michael Waltrip second, and Jeff Gordon is third with Rusty Wallace fourth and Ted Musgrave fifth. Hyde Downey fourth, Thunderbird. This guy had a good
I
run.
usually look at how many.
Ricky Rudd.
And you watch in ninth, I believe, Jerry.
And that'll get him in the top 20 as you watch his qualifying run. Let's check in with John Kirk.
Well, Jerry, I'm standing by with Rick Mast. And, Rick, pretty good qualifying run, standing for 11th right now.
Yeah, we've been struggling since we've gotten here. You know, we're the last two races we haven't done real well in qualifying. When they drop the green flag, we seem to be in good shape. The car is driving real good. The motor feels real good. We're just not simply fast for a lap or two, but you know, sometimes in Bristol, that ain't always a good way to do here for the race. You know what I mean? Take an old DW approach. That's the way he likes to do it. Lay back a little bit and run hard at the end of the race, stay out of trouble. That's
Now, your sponsorship teammate is out there, Robert Presley, a rookie on the circuit this year. You didn't teach him anything about this place?
well, he's been out running a lot of these races this year, but yeah, you know, me and Robert, we work together a lot. You know, a lot of race.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better.
That's when I figured out the Chevrolet Ford advantage, disadvantage thing, you know what I mean? But they've got this thing equal up pretty now.
I know I had got the very first
Now, Robert's doing good.
strain that went around.
Thank you, Rick. Jerry?
And Presley's first lap you saw.
Before I never even thought it would be COVID. We knew of it, but
15.537.
it was like so soon. It was February 14th.
123.499 miles per
I was out on a date.
Ricky Rudd, second lap was
I'm giggling because that was like the last date I ever went on. and I got sick. I said, you gotta go home. And I got home and I just remember
So that's sort of a reverse of the 300.
just blowing lunch
the guy who knows this racetrack.
like projectile when I got home, when I got out of sight of him and everything.
Martasi, Pete Gilmart, Kip McCord.
It was but I really just said, I got the flu. And damn it, I didn't get my flu shot because I only got it when the babies were around. And I never got the flu shot when, it was just all about me. Till now, because I don't get it every year. Just every few years. After I get sick real bad, then I do. Which is
And he does not. He's
cart, horse, barn door,
in the top 20. He worked with the
like closing the barn door after the horses are out. But
after this.
but yes,
Welcome back to Thunder Valley, and we're walking back.
I hear something. I'm talking.
Jeff, this is a lot different circumstances than the last time I
I
talked.
got distracted a minute. But yes,
We'll take it. We just want to run as fast or a little bit faster than what we practice.
I remember telling my mom and dad, send me, Texas Pete or hot, so I always want hot chili or whatever.
Is Mark.
And they sent me like that and some emergency and
Got for him, but we're happy with this.
Tamiflu and that type of thing.
That's what we need.
up in my cabin.
You won back in April, and it's...
But I noticed I couldn't taste the hot sauce. That was the first thing that struck me funny. It wasn't fuming up into my, sinuses, and, like, I like to use more herbal type remedies than using meds sometimes. And
It was during the day.
it wasn't working. Like, I couldn't smell the hot sauce, and I was getting sicker and weaker, and I was taking ibuprofen, and not ibuprofen, I'm sorry, Aleve.
Is that what you said, polecat, right?
Yeah.
The naproxen, the prescription one. And
They just called you.
nothing made me feel better. I mean, literally felt my body give up. I had a neighbor come and say, he said, I got a can of Lysol.
We'll just have to see what my car does.
And I got the neighbor's truck. We're driving you to the hospital. Now, I lived way out in the wilderness, and we were like a half hour from the closest hospital. And he said, you're going to the emergency room. And
We won't.
I was like, okay. And I told the hospital, the doctor says, what's wrong? I said, I'm dying. That's how I'm dying. And I said, I think I got the flu. I didn't get my flu shot. And he said, had you been to China? Have you traveled to Italy? Have you tried? No.
Why?
Okay, well, and they did a regular flu test, and it came back negative. So
does people down here in the South, and got a little bit of...
all the things told,
I knew that.
yeah. I mean,
Ricky Craven has just turned the 5th fastest time.
pretty darn sure I had it. Never had it confirmed. They didn't have enough tests to test.
470.
Back then, it was so new.
15.575, so Craven will...
But I just laughed when they said, had you been to China or something? But then I didn't even realize, I worked in
quickest thus far in qualifying.
and lived in that little horse town where we were kind of tourist attractions, for lack of a better word.
Just bumped. Kyle Petty was bumped a moment ago, and Brett Bodine. Nick Trickle has already been bumped from the top 20.
So we had the town even had a guest book. I mean, we had people from Spain, all kinds of places. But anyway,
Burton clocks in at 15.593 seconds. 100
it passed through. We were really
first lap. Good enough.
Like I said, we got a lot of travelers.
Spot. Remember, only 20 being decided today, and Burton's second lap a little bit slower.
Of course, another thing at stake here tonight.
I do remember my body giving up, and I remember my dog laying on top of me, like climbing on the bed and laying on top of me. And that only other time I've seen that is like when someone's near death, which was weird. She's never done it since.
Car number 71. Everyone gets a punch right there.
Me and my puppy dog are pretty close.
Where the pink car is, and
He's laying down with Chris right now. But
right there, 19.
what a pretty car, that Olive Garden car. Dave Marcus.
Chance to get the pick first, and then go by qualifying order. No provisional spots left for this veteran, Dave Marcus, in the Olive Garden Chevrolet. Let's take a look. Let's see what Marcus does. 15.718 seconds.
26 fastest at the moment.
Mike Wallace on the hot seat in 20th spot. Only top 20 get decided in this first round, and Marcus a little bit slower next time by very consistent lap, 15.721. That will not make it into the top 20. And Mike Wallace continues to hang on to 20th spot as Texan Terry Labonte on the pole. A new event qualifying record, 15.392 seconds. This guy taking a shot at the pole. Good race Chevrolet, 7-time Winston Cup champion Dale Earnhardt, an 8-time winner here at Bristol International Raceway, including his very first ever victory right here back in 1979.
We didn't see Earnhardt that fast in practice this afternoon. Let's see what he does in qualifying.
15.496 seconds. That's 6th quickest his first lap. Good lap. 123.826 miles per hour. Lap 2 for the Intimidator.
Could be a little faster, according to my watch.
And a little bit slower. 15.566 seconds by Dale Earnhardt. So his first lap at 15.496. Good enough to put the 7-time
Oh, good, Pops.
champion in 6th spot.
Give yourself a break, because it's gonna be a minute to get used to it again, especially if you were ill
Bristol International Raceway. Take a look.
or sick. Up in New England, we said ill when we were sick, like influenza, like ill. And I said ill in the South, and got my head bit off because he said, I'm not mad. I'm not ill. I'm like, total different meaning. It was an insult. I didn't know.
And his second lap, 15.860, is quicker of the two, so we'll take Elton Sawyer's lap. And the car number 27 will not get in the top 20. Let's go down to John Turner.
Jerry, back in the spring, Ricky Rudd finished 5th, and right now he sits 7th on the grid, and this is the exact same car, right, Ricky? So it must be a pretty good one.
Well, it is the same Tide Downey Ford, but it's been a little bit of changes made to the car, the chassis. We've been guys in the shop, Bill Engel, all these guys have improved the car a little bit. We just misjudged the racetrack cooling off, and the front end wouldn't quite turn like I wanted it to in qualifying. Left a little bit of speed on the racetrack, but we'll race real good.
All right, thank you very much, Ricky. Currently 7th, Jerry.
Good run for Rudd. Here's the guy that settled the pole and won the race last week at Michigan for his third Winston Cup victory of the year.
Only 22nd fastest at the moment. Bobby Labonte.
15.630 his first lap by. Not good enough for the top 20. And neither will the second lap. 15.694. So Bobby Labonte misses the top 20. And oh, what a difference a week makes. Last week on the pole at Michigan with a new event qualifying record in winter. This week he can't make the top 20, but different kind of racetrack. But I got to believe that come tomorrow night, he'll be a factor in the 500 lapper here at the Goodies 500.
And here is Bobby Hamilton in the STP Pontiac, which is Teddy's car.
Remember the race Hamilton had here back in the spring, started back in 17th spot, finished 4th. May have had the fastest race car the last 20 laps of the race at Bristol.
The first lap will get him in there, according to my watch.
And it will not. 15.659 seconds for Hamilton. Has to beat a 15.62. That is Jimmy Spencer. That is the bump speed, or on the bubble, we should say. And he will not do it. 15.672 seconds slower second time by. So Hamilton, STP Pontiac. 25th qualifying. Remember, only the 20 cars will be set up. Here is Bill Elliott, 1988 Winston Cup champion, 9-time most popular driver in NASCAR Winston Cup racing. One victory is coming in the spring race back in 88.
Good puppy.
Exciting race that was. And Bill's going to be marginal getting in, not good.
Good girl.
6.630 close. Elliott's got to pick it up about
good girl.
a second to get in the top 20. Spencer is on the bubble at 20th spot, and here's Elliott, second time.
I love that puppy dog.
Yes, he did. 15.595 seconds, and Elliott in 17th spot.
Laid in her bed.
039, and talk about a pole catch. This guy has won 3 poles at Bristol International Raceway. Second only to Darrell Waltrip in pole victories here. Waltrip has 4. Martin set on the pole here back in the spring. The Batesville, Arkansas bullet in the Valvoline Ford. And there is Jack Roush with the hat on. I should say that's Jack on the right side of your screen, who owns a race car, the Valvoline Ford, seeing what he can do.
He did it, Jerry. 16.339.
15.339 seconds. 125.093 miles per hour, and a new pole setter. Mark Martin, his second lap is slower, but who cares? His first lap was quick enough, 15.339 seconds, 125.093 miles per hour. And Mark Martin has swept the pole at Bristol International Raceway. Take a listen, folks.
Jerry, that's a new track record, isn't it?
It must be, if Terry's was that he passed.
Yes, brand new track record, breaking the record set by Chuck Bound in April of 1994. So Terry Labonte broke the event record, but Mark Martin broke the track record. And remember, as you continue to watch qualifying, we have a Busch Grand National event coming up, the Food City 250 coming up on ESPN Classic. That's coming up at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Classic now. Live racing action, Busch Grand National style. Joe Nemechek's first lap, 15.530. Second lap, 15.688. So we'll take his first lap at 123.5.
Good to see you, Small Trail Racing.
Hey, that's pretty neat when all those people stand up and cheer, isn't it?
I didn't think they were cheering for me. I can't believe it. Valvoline car's perfect tonight. I hope one of these guys doesn't beat us. That'd be real nice. These guys deserve it. They put me in the best race cars on the racetrack.
Oh, you're welcome.
Every week, and they deserve to sit on the pole.
You know, Jeff Gordon said you might be the pole cat, and you are.
Well,
maybe it'll help y'all on iRacing watch what lines these guys run. This would be like your A-class, sort of, but the cars are so different now.
578, so not...
What's that? What happened? Through.
And basically what it is, it's an electric air conditioner.
That was the era I grew up in. My dad built this car here. This is the team, but this is the car. And this is the car here, too. Back in the day. But then it transitioned to this. That was the first one they ran at Stafford, finished third. With the modifieds, and then
by Alan Dillard Racing on Monday.
Kind of fun. This is gonna have all kinds of cars. All things. This is actually a girl that drives Becca Monopoly, and she races at New Smyrna and Auburndale. She's track champion. She's a Florida champion. Pro Trucks. She races some ARCA now too. This is IMSA. My dad did that too. And Ronnie's. That's okay. This is weird. My dad, Ron Bouchard. This guy here is Ryan Priest's grandfather and his crew. They worked on the 2X. I gotta do probably just a screenshot.
Was officially supposed to get underway at 20 minutes till the hour.
We'll see. Then they transition to.
The trucks are out there. The fans certainly are here. And they're hoping to see
stocks. There's a lot of stuff here. Sorry for the scrolling.
Of the latest hurricane, and all day the rain held off.
This is the car that will be in the next race.
Hopefully, within the next few minutes, it'll move out of here, and we'll be able to get this.
that Camaro. Which Camaro? Oh, I don't remember. Yeah, that Camaro. That one won 4 track championships. Like. That team might have been a combination of 2 cars. It was Ryan's home track actually that was taken. Yeah, this is when they started transition. This is in the beginning, 4 championships, and then Bouchard drove that.
For driving safe with USAA.
Yeah, this was Ryan Priest's grandfather's car, the 2X.
You're made for.
This is the last race my dad did, I think, in modifieds before he went south. Yep. Oh, this is me.
Feel good about.
Where am I?
Is all free clear.
This one. That's me right there. So yeah, I grew up in it, but I'm trying to. I think it's way in the bottom here, the modifieds.
Sunset in the Blue Ridge Mountains of eastern Tennessee, side of Bristol International Raceway, and seen at tonight's NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Food City 250. It is a beautiful night here in the mountains of Tennessee. Gorgeous night for stock car racing and a great crowd on hand. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and welcome to Bristol, Tennessee. Of course, what a great night for Busch.
Okay, I'm at this track
we told you the series
this day. This is Saturday.
One thing is
this is the car my
change atop the point standings.
Ex-husband, this short guy carrying the tires,
Chad Little, who had been trying to win a championship,
is
had problems
on.
Up there as you look at our points.
And my dad's helping Grissom. My dad had left that team. The Lance team, the 20.
Jason Keller and Jeff Green in the top 5. 6.
That was their cup car, the 32.
So
ignore that. But that's what it's painted like. That was Hillen's car. That was Hillen at Charlotte, I think, or Atlanta.
Series action tonight and Winston Cup racing action coming your way tomorrow.
Atlanta, I bet.
35th annual Goodies 500. Now, we know that coming to Bristol, you got to have certain things to be successful here on the high banks, and one of them is patience. You got to be very patient. You can't push the issue here on the high banks or they'll bite you. The concrete hits pretty hard. Got to be patient if you want to win or have a shot at a championship.
Jerry, you're exactly right, and I'm with a driver, a young driver on the Busch Series who really illustrates patience.
This is a good race, too.
The points leader, Johnny Benson Jr.
This is like your B cars on the iRacing.
Previous visits, already 2 top 10
Sort of.
finishes, including
your
back
Xfinities.
in April. Johnny, as fast as things happen here, how in the world?
Used to be called Busch Grand National.
I'll tell you what, it's pretty tough here at Bristol International, but we're just going to do what we can. We'll just do what the guys in front of us would do. Go as fast as we can for as long as we can.
They have to be patiently aggressive, Jerry.
And last year's Rookie of the Year, Johnny Benson, is certainly building experience here at Bristol, Tennessee. Experience, well, you got to not only when to pass, but how to pass. And in a 250-lap sprint race, it's critical to know when to pit.
And it worked for Larry Pearson in back-to-back years, 87 and 88, a first-place finish. Larry, you have a young crew chief. Your experience very valuable here tonight. How do you get to the front?
Well, starting back here in 19th, we're going to need a very strong front bumper, to be honest with you. But no, Bristol's a place where you really have to take your time, and you have to be aggressive to get around the place. But you really don't want to be over-aggressive because you can get yourself in trouble real quick.
Well, now Larry Pearson, he looks pretty fresh, but there's a handful of drivers that may have problems. The fatigue factor could become a certain possibility tonight because these drivers came early today and have been practicing both Winston Cup and Busch Grand National Series cars, and they have yet to take a beating here as 250 laps are straight ahead.
Well, I'm here with Mike Wallace. He got to the racetrack this morning at 8:30. He's been running a Busch car, his Duran Paints car. He's run his Winston Cup car, his Heilig Myers car. He's practiced both of them. He's been back from the back stretch to the front stretch, back stretch to the front stretch. He's qualified both cars, and now you got to run a 250-lap race. Is fatigue going to be a factor for you today?
What's up, guys? I hope not. You know, these guys pay me to be tough, so we work out a little bit during the week, and it's been a tough day. You know, they haven't had any breaks in between either practice. You go straight out of the Cup car to the Busch car, but I think we'll be fine this evening. You know, it should be a little cooler. Got a helmet cooler in here tonight to help us out a little bit, and we're looking to win this thing this evening.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I've watched him go back and forth from the front stretch to the back stretch enough. 250 laps, I'm fatigued just watching him.
Hey, folks, if you've never watched a race at Bristol, tonight you're going to see beating and banging. They've talked about that already. We're going to see cars crashed into one. We're going to see crashes, caution flags, great driving, sorry driving. And why, Ned?
Well, because they go so fast on this racetrack that they don't have time to react. If something happens in front of them, bang, you're right into it before you know it. But one thing about it, there's always plenty of action here at Bristol.
And as the field gets set to start, 36 strong. Now, before we start the beating and banging, we got a little question to ask here. Now, Mike Mooney, the PR director for this French's team, is sitting back in his apartment in Charlotte, North Carolina, with Krista. And Krista, he has a question to ask you. Krista, will you marry me? Well, not marry me. Actually, will you marry Mike Mooney? And we're going to call you in a moment and see what your answer is. We want to show that now because of the beating and banging starts. That bumper may not be there. Back at the high banks of Bristol in a moment. TV dealer has the road you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Valvoline, the #1 choice of America's top mechanics. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Let's take a look at our Suzuki starting grids. 36 strong, and the first pole ever for this youngster, 27 years of age, Stevie Reeves, 122.56 miles
My
per hour.
dad, like I said, he was working with
And you know, Jerry, I think that Stevie Reeves running the midgets and sprint cars up in Indiana at Winchester.
the 29 in this race. It's 29 in both of them.
Might be one reason he's on the pole tonight.
16 different pole winners.
The light blue, I think they took a provisional. No, they got 28th. Okay.
We told you early, experience is key. Hey, Steve Grissom starts back in 28th. He started 17th here in April and won the Busch Series event.
And here's 31 through.
Now, it's not the same car. They'll tell you later they had to take their road course car and convert it to Bristol.
Robbie Reiser back. His first start since Talladega, that wild crash head on into the wall there after having a good run in the top 10 in the late laps. Had a broken kneecap and a severe concussion. Ned, the track description here, Bristol International Raceway.
Well, it's a .533 mile oval, front stretch 650 feet, same as the back stretch, and the banking in the corners is 36 degrees and 16 degrees on the straightaway.
Race analysis here. We told you 250 laps of pole speed, 122.5, race record 92.929 miles per hour, pit window 130 to 140 laps. That's because the tires may go away, and the purse, a good one here for Larry Carrier and company, $258,400. $431. Got a couple of in-cars, Benny Parsons.
There's Jimmy Spencer, the Finalube Ford.
Okay, that's
The Food City car direct in front of
my family's car. Well,
there's Jimmy, and he's
my husband was working with them.
City Chevy. That's the Teresa
I was there just for fun.
Chevrolet of Jeff Green, and carrying that Food City roof camera. Tonight's field net 36 cars.
12 Fords, 3 pumps.
That camera's microphone has static. Probably the race
And some of the
car noise.
Failed to qualify. 41 cars came. These didn't make it. Purvis, Silver.
I like that. I like comedy movies. That's where I get all my sounds.
Flemington, New Jersey, the NASCAR modified driver.
And the signal from NASCAR starters, 1 lap to go. And all these cars will go charging down in turn 1, fighting, beating, and banging for positions.
Take a look at the manufacturers' battle, the wins, poles, and points. You see Ford, 10 wins, 6 poles. Currently lead the point standing. Chevy with 9 wins and 10 poles. And Pontiac, no wins yet and 2 poles. It's basically a 2-car battle. Ford and
Go!
Championship.
We're about ready to go racing. And folks, it's about to get exciting.
I heard cough, but I don't know that I got cough.
Thunder Valley, John Kernan, Bill Weber, Benny Parsons, Ned Jarrett, and here's truly Jerry Punch. We're going to be back here tomorrow with exciting racing action, live action, the Goodies, 500, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Glad to have you with us at Bristol International Raceway.
Reach up there
And
pull
the green
up
flag
tight.
is
One
waving.
more time, Saturday night style. Let's go racing, boys.
Jimmy is such.
Modified competition, and he's moving in on Larry Pearson. Not afraid at all.
That meme is like me as a child. My mom always said my brain was in park and my feet were in gear.
That is Bobby Donner passing him in buckshot, caught up on the outside.
That's why I laugh when I hear that.
Leading the race, that's he in the 7 car. The 44, Dave Green is second, and Johnny Benson is third. That's Benson in the red and yellow number 74, followed by Chad Little in the red and yellow 23.
That's the front 2 in points. Benson and Little, who are running 3rd and 4th. They are 1st and 2nd, as you saw in the point standings. That's the battle right there. And Chad Little trying to break that miserable streak of a couple of races where he just hasn't had any luck at all. Indianapolis Raceway Park and Michigan.
One driver already having to make a pit stop on the backstretch. I think it was the car number 35 of Doug Heveron.
He was a modified racer out of New York. Super modifieds, actually, more so. Oswego. That's a name from Oswego.
Couldn't quite do it.
Harry Gant used to sit on the pole here last August. Now, Gant had engine trouble and didn't make it to the halfway mark.
There we see Mike Wallace in the Duron paint car, number 90. And the 64 car, Randy LaJoy, the Duralube car. This is a battle for 8th spot. And it looks like LaJoy is going to look on the inside, can't make the pass.
Randy LaJoy in the 64. That's interesting.
Doug Heveron had gone to the pits on the backstretch. Apparently something was going wrong with
He'll end up driving.
Watching LaJoy in the 64.
In Johnny Benson's ride. Johnny Benson's going to move up to Cup.
Michigan finished 3rd.
And
Shoemaker, and we are told that those runs have
the FINA sponsorship will go to base with Randy LaJoy. Because I think Moroso closes.
Dennis Shoemaker and company.
After Robbie died, Dick had a really hard time.
We'll show you just how.
And then Dick got diagnosed with cancer during this year. In fact, in real time of that race, it was like maybe 3 weeks prior he got diagnosed.
74.
Yeah, he's been having to drive offensively and defensively there. He's trying to get around Stevie Reeves, but at the same time, he has to keep his eye on the rearview mirror because Johnny Benson is right there.
I still keep my fingers crossed.
Patience, but
yeah, the 74 will be Randy LaJoy when
waiting it all is Randy LaJoy.
My dad will go to that team shop with the Fedewa car in '98.
That's Tim Fedewa that's pulled up right on the back bumper of Mike Wallace. Just as soon as he gets rid of one guy, he's got another beat on his back bumper.
Yeah,
I was grabbing a photo.
a couple of car lengths after he got around Mike Wallace.
I showed you the Fina car. That was Moroso.
Car lengths.
It was actually a cup car.
Stevie Reeves, National USAC Midget
Same
Champion,
team.
1992 and 93.
Yeah, we see that.
For 95. Let me see, for 96.
And the Red Dog car is closed up on his back bumper.
Kenny Wallace won this race last August, broke a 2.5-year win.
There's Joe Bessie in the 9 car. And that's Buckshot Jones in 00. And the 34 car of Mike McLaughlin. A little bit of contact, and Mike almost brushed the wall there.
And Buckshot giving him a little nudge from behind. That's Joe Bessie. By the way, you did see Joe Bessie win. I've been watching this win on Busch Grand National North competition just a few weeks ago on ESPN.
26th and 27th that they're battling for.
Battle you were watching a moment ago, Benny Parsons, as Kenny Wallace in the 8 car, but now he's getting a little heat from behind.
Jason Keller in 57 of Budget Gourmet, and there's the in-car camera from the Food City Chevrolet on Jeff Green. And wow, what a mess going in turn 3.
Yeah, we're almost having racing. Chad Little is holding up Kenny Wallace because the front 3 cars, just a few laps ago,
The commentators are funny.
cars running together, but now the front 3 cars have driven away from Chad Little. You understand that maybe he's complaining about the car being a little bit loose.
Remember, these cars qualified earlier today, and it was quite a bit warmer. The racetrack has since had Winston.
This is the same team Benson's driving for.
And so a lot of laps on this racetrack.
Same building. This is where the Joy of Seating is in now. Randy LaJoy's shop in real life. See that 74 Lipton was this car in 98. And the Kleenex Racing logo in the background is because this is the Kleenex car of Tim Fedewa. This is my son Chris here.
Jekyll.
And my dad right here. My son would go and hold the brake pedal on the car when they do pit practice.
He said yes. Congratulations.
So he got to mess around too. Like the whole family get to mess around with different parts of the sport. There's a lot to be done.
And our pole sitter continues to lead, but maybe not for long.
So it's a
for second spot.
Fun life. It really was.
Pull that pass off on the outside. Now he's trying to do this on the inside.
Well, he had to have a lot of confidence, first of all, in David Green to go up on the outside of him and make a pass.
And another battle that happened a moment ago while we were in break. Take a look at this. Kenny Wallace says hi there. Harris Teeter's Ford Thunderbird of Chad Little. Chad's been having a...
Dad helped Kenny too quite a bit.
And here we see they get together just a little bit going down.
In 97.
Chad goes up the racetrack.
Year in between.
Lost about...
We'll get into all that when I start covering the next... We're at 95. Almost done with 95.
What you said up front's coming true there. The beat.
And then we'll do 96.
And we are told it's
97.
Tire going down.
And 98. And my dad's last race was 2000.
Stevie Reeves.
That's quite a story in itself. We got to race one race.
On the pole is led since the drop of the green flag.
Their financier got killed.
Joy, I'm sorry.
About a month into the
Here's our field summary.
endeavor.
Your favorite driver now once again.
They bought Yarborough's old team, the 98.
Started. So Kenny Wallace starting back in 7th. One of the cars that have made a move. Car number 25, the Mick Johnson Chevy, slowing down. Johnny Rumley, Don Beverly owned car.
Tom Beverly was a dragster racer.
And we see there's Johnny down on the apron of the racetrack, so obviously has some type of problem he considers terminal as he's going towards the pits. There's our leader going by Patty Moise. Stevie Reeves in the 7, 74. Benson, that's a Lipton T car. And David Green.
Whoa, trouble in turn 2.
Oh, Fuller.
has spun and it's headed backward toward oncoming traffic.
He's probably the one person in racing I know probably most about back as in the childhood because we grew up together.
National champion.
Met him when he was 14. I was like 12. My dad helped him all through the years. My dad will actually go work for this team in '96. And they'll win Bristol in '96. I was going to play that today too, but I think I'm going to save that for another day this week. I think this will be the last Bristol race I'll play today.
The back end just went away.
And he's coming right at you. And
wow. That's one hell of a driver. That kid could drive a modified like you wouldn't believe. He went to Australia. Oh, he got hit by Spencer. Come on, man. I tell you, you want Spencer only driving for you.
There we see Chad Little in there in the pits, and they're looking at the left rear tire. Now they can only change how many tires?
They get 2 sets of tires under caution for the whole race.
The crew always had to keep other drivers away from Spencer after the race would end.
And Bill Weber, what happened down there?
Other crews or whatever.
Probably see Jimmy Spencer got into the rear of Jeff Fuller. He called his crew right away, said, tell him I'm sorry, tell his spotter I didn't mean to do it. I sure am sorry. So Jimmy Spencer apologizing for helping bring out the first caution. He's got a good run going back here, too.
And so Jeff. Mystery is solved. Jimmy Spencer gave Jeff Fuller a bit of a tap, and you saw what happened. Under caution for the...
We hung out like every weekend at the track. He was like awesome to hang out with. He's one of my best friends.
Under caution for the first
best friends as a kid, you know, like teenager.
From Jimmy Spencer, but under the caution here is the car 23 just barely getting back out after a pit stop. In fact, he made 2 pit stops and just got out.
In fact, I got to get a hold of him soon about this book stuff. He's got to write something for me.
Trying to improve on a best finish of 6th at Richmond. His only top 10 here in 1990.
Not many from the old days are still alive, and he happens to be nominated.
And here is
Jason. He doesn't know it yet.
And the 8 car, something is wrong with Kenny Wallace. He's not up to speed. Can't get it up to speed.
Jason Keller in 57 that went around him on the restart. Now Kenny seems to be going again. In fact, he's going to try to move back on the inside of 64 goes.
Ooh!
Yeah, there he just drives right on by when he slides up the track. That's one way to do it.
Randy's not going to be happy about that. I don't think he meant it.
Hanging on that car in the corner.
Lost comes Spencer.
Oh!
He finished him off.
Contacted in the wall.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
boy.
In it. Oh, my goodness. The track is nearly completely blocked. Ed Barrier in the Caterpillar car. He's involved. Brad Teague, Jim Bound.
Robbie Reiser.
Curtis Markham is down there.
Gee whiz.
Damage to that Ed Barrier's Caterpillar car.
Gosh, they drive like today's hacks.
Absolutely had nowhere to go driving for Buzz McCall, but Randy LaJoie gets tapped at both ends of the racetrack, looks like, and this is the result. Here's a look at it.
Yeah, we see some contact between Spencer and LaJoie, and LaJoie goes up, smacks the wall.
Spencer's going to get in trouble.
Watch these other cars become involved.
I remember the crew saying, don't let no one near Jimmy after the race.
React, and then the track just closes up in front of you.
That was Rodney Combs in the green car. That's a strange color to you fans, you Busch Grand National fans, but the green 43 was Rodney Combs that met Ed Barrier nose to nose.
And Johnny Rumley was one of the first cars to go out. As you see Ed Barrier climb out of his car okay. I think Johnny is standing by with Kyle Petty.
Well, Johnny, you started pretty back in the pack a little bit, but you were making some progress, but it's been a short night so far to a long day.
Yeah, it really has. Big Johnson Chevrolet dropped a valve, and that's very unusual for a Holmes and Eames motor, but had a good run following a 14-car Terry, and he's as good as anybody to follow around here, and that's what we was looking for. You know, trying to get a little experience. The guys worked real hard. Qualified 13th, probably had a top 10, top 5 car, who knows. And biggest thing, I was starting to have a little bit of fun. So right now we got a gorilla on our back. Hopefully we'll get him off, and when we do, we're going to run good. I hope to run up front, maybe win a race 40 years over. Like say hi to Carolyn and the kids. We'll be home shortly.
Well, I tell you what, Johnny Rumley's tough wherever he goes. One thing, they might have broke a motor, but they didn't get in that big wreck, and they got a car to go to the next race. A lot of people can't say that, guys.
Gotta feel lucky when you walk away from Bristol with a complete race car. Now here again is what happened to start this thing. You see Rodney Combs coming down the 43 car. It's a snapper colors. Now take a look again at what happened.
This is from behind. This is the 8 car of Kenny Wallace, the Red Dog car, and LaJoy as they go in turn 3. There's that contact between Wallace and LaJoy. Now, LaJoy saved it that time. He goes up the hill, and he's going to lose 3 or 4 spots.
Okay, that was the first punt. Now here's the second one.
He and Jimmy Spencer get together down in turn 1, and as he comes off the wall, now the cars start trying to dodge him.
Joe Bessie in the 9.
Hermie Sadler, and there the 43.
Ooh.
He gets hit by the 95, and also the 95 hit the back of the 64 as Elton Sawyer goes through there, and there's the end of it.
Well, that's what's left of the Caterpillar Chevrolet. And here's
they're going to show you 8 times.
Ooh, wow. 08 car Bobby Daughter ran right in the back of Rodney Combs, and that's what turned him around. And I'm sure there's some heavy damage to the front of Bobby Daughter's car.
And the cars that were involved in the crash, we'll run them down for you once again. Ed Barrier, heavy damage in his car. Randy LaJoy, as you ride along now with.
That was the old one.
And that was earlier when Spencer got into the 7 car of Jeff Fuller.
Spencer.
And that's the previous one. So Jimmy Spencer may wear that radio button out as he's already called and apologized for the contact with Jeff Fuller. Barrier, LaJoy, Markham, Combs, and Bound, the cars that we have listed as being the most heavily damaged 5 vehicles in the second caution flag of the night.
Yeah, they were and Champion and all the folks, guys that worked on the car.
Ed Barrier.
Coming around, would have been all right later on.
Been a typical Bristol so far, though. A lot of wild action. You had to expect that coming in.
Yeah, the cars are so competitive, it's hard to pass here. And sometimes some guys take a chance, it's a little bit early in the race to be doing that, but it's a competitive race. It ought to be exciting night.
And 46 of 250 laps are complete. Good
little sarcasm in that.
Thunder here at Thunder Valley in the early laps. 2 caution flags.
That's a full for a bush race.
Hangs on.
Let me get us back to here.
In the race, 195 laps to go. Sure, he wants to lead. Don't take a chance.
How about it, John Curtis?
I tell you, he's having a hold in the bridle, in the bit, and I'm talking about the crew chief for Johnny Benson.
Grissom's in 14th, so Dad's car is doing good.
Johnny says the 7 car of Stevie Reeves is holding him up. And Bernie's saying just be patient as Johnny takes a look as they go into turn 1. But tucks back in the line this time by. Said, be patient, your time will come. But Benson feels he's got the fastest.
Fuller lost a lap too.
He's just being held up.
I agree, John. I think he does.
Spencer lost 2 laps.
Probably.
We're both sucking so far.
Indianapolis Raceway Park, guys. He had maybe one of the quickest cars. Led about 2/3 of the race and got a little bit over aggressive and looped it over in turn 2. And it cost him a shot at the win.
And we see that David Green and the Green is closing back up on these guys. They had pulled away about 15, 20 car lengths, but now he's just 3 or 4 car lengths behind. I'm sure that Stevie Reeves is playing a little bit defensive right now.
That Clapper girl looked really good that race.
Because he's trying to keep this. Oh, he gets loose.
I liked that retro. It was retro for even that day.
Benson made the move. You called it, BP. Hamilton loose, and that was the opening. Johnny Benson morning. Now here's David Green.
The crew chief on Johnny Benson's car is Steve Bird.
In less than half a lap.
They're going to win the points championship. One of his 4. Steve Bird got 4 points championships in Busch.
Had to back out of the throttle just a little bit to catch
My dad got 1.
That gave Benson the opportunity to get been waited for. Fresh.
Leaders getting into heavy traffic. 180 laps to go. As now Wallace will look to the inside. No, a little bit of a bump.
Oh, a little bit of a bump.
Uh-oh.
And behind him, Larry Pearson tries to miss him, gets a little bit of a bump. As the caution will come out for the third time. Pearson slides. Patty Moise gives Pearson a tag. And here is Bill Parsons now trying to go by. But you see running along with Jeff Green. And he will save losing a lap. They will bring out the caution flag for the third time tonight.
Yeah, just a little bit of a touch from the 8 car, Kenny Wallace.
Lap 72, caution comes
drive, and I'm going to go fast, and I'm going to turn to the left.
Here's a look at what happened again. First contact.
All it takes is just a little bit of a tap in the left rear. Jeff almost saved it, but he couldn't quite make it.
Now from the in-car camera, watch Larry Pearson's car just get by above him. Watch from the in-car camera.
I'm a child. I'm playing with buttons.
Just get those seeds that you don't need.
Wow. Hey, Ned, he was driving that thing sideways, wasn't he?
He was.
Tony Uri and company now changing tires. You see the Mike McLaughlin car just above him there, the 34 car. And speaking of the 34 car, now at the top of the show, we showed you a sign on the back of that car, number 34, from Mike Mooney, their PR director for French's, who was sitting back in his apartment in Charlotte with his girlfriend, Krista.
And Mike, what did Krista say? It said, Krista, will you marry me? And Mike Mooney, what'd she say?
Penny, it was a overwhelming yes.
It was, huh? Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks very much. I'll tell you, I think I was a little more nervous than some of the drivers out there tonight getting ready for this.
Was she surprised?
Very much so.
Well, Mike, watch the race and then celebrate.
I think I will. Hopefully McLaughlin can steer clear of some of that traffic I've been hearing about, and we can bring him up front.
Hey, we'll see you down in Darlington. Congratulations again from all of us at ESPN.
Great. Thanks a lot, guys.
Under caution for the third time today, lap 73 of 250. Johnny Benson, our point leader, is also our race leader at Bristol, Tennessee. Well, we went green a lap and a half ago, and we're caution again. Here's what happened in the back straightaway. The car number 92, you see the caution flag waving. And Kyle Petty, when the restart occurred, the 8 car didn't come up to speed again.
I don't know what happened to him on the restart as far as not coming up to speed. The NASCAR official was in some serious conversation with their crew chief down here. That's 2 accidents, the 64 and the 3, that he was either in the wrong place at the wrong time or put the bumper to the wrong person at the wrong time. They've given him a warning. They reviewed the tapes. They said, okay, the deal with the 3 car might have been both of them's fault, but now he's got in his own little trouble here. So, hey, what goes around comes around sometimes.
Wow, look at the damage of the rear of that car, Ned.
Yeah, a lot of damage done there. As you can see, the tire is rubbing against the fender, so a lot of, and I think what happened here, his car was not up to speed, and Larry Pearson came up behind him and tapped him. Larry got tapped, I believe, from behind as well, and so around they went down to the inside retaining wall.
Something happened to the 8 car to Kenny Wallace as he came off the corner. It's like the car just quit running.
He was trying to get out of the way, but Larry was coming off there so fast, and it was sort of a chain reaction bumping situation behind him.
There's Larry Pearson, and he was the victim there. He had started back in 19th spot, and he was up in 8th position in less than 70 laps, and Larry, the only multi-winner here in the field tonight. Now, Kenny Wallace is standing by with John Kernan.
Just climbing out of the car, a lot of smoke coming out there. Kenny, obviously the frame's bent. What happened to you?
Well, what happened is something wrong with the carburetor, and on the restarts it would miss real bad. And I stayed on the bottom down the straightaways, and it wouldn't clear out. They just got into me, you know. Bad deal.
Yeah, very bad deal. You're obviously not going to get this car back out there tonight, are you?
No, we're not running for points. We only run about 14 races a year, but
I like listening to some of Kenny's latest stuff now. He's got more hair now than he did then.
So, night's over.
Lucky kid.
Well, that's racing is what they say. Look at this. As you can see, the line all the way back from the front tire back to here, and it's pushed out at least, what, about 3 inches? Look at that. That's some, he hit with some force, didn't he?
He did that. Yeah.
He said he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't running for points, but unfortunately Larry Pearson was, guys, and he was in 6th spot in the point standings. And, there is the Stanley Tool driver, Larry Pearson. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And Larry Pearson has just walked back here to the garage. Larry, I know you're disappointed. What happened out there?
Kenny Wallace had a lot of problems out there, and he was Terry checked up, and somebody got into me, and I bumped into him, and I guess he felt like I hit him, you know, on purpose and knocked him up the racetrack, and he's got me back here. It's just, you know, we're out here running for points, and Winston Cup guys over out here just for the hell of it. It's always something stupid like that.
Larry Pearson, not very happy.
See, life hasn't changed in 30 years.
Not going to happen at Bristol.
And he had come all the way from 18th spot,
29 years
position, and was making a run for his 3rd victory at Bristol. Not going to happen. We'll be back in a moment.
My dad's car's running 8th.
Back at Bristol International.
We're on lead lap down. We're first
lap cars restart on the inside as opposed to the outside as they do. Johnny Benson running side by side with Jim.
We're on the outside. The 20 is lap down. I don't think he's on the lead lap.
On the track behind Benson.
And he was trying his best to get one of those laps back, but it did not work.
Yeah, I thought so. That's just the score ahead.
He got out front.
If he was 2 laps down, there's no way he's in the lead, you know?
Ever see Johnny Benson directly in front of our feet?
Yeah, that's the car that's paying the bills at my house. And
Board camera, I should
the
say.
one paying the bills at my parents' house was the 29 running in 8th.
Second place.
We're not second. The Clabber Girl car is. That 7 Clabber Girl car really was unique. It looked really nice in person.
People right away.
Ooh, Mike. Oh, Michael.
Right, we needed to show that thing in front because the tail time was said.
Mike McLaughlin, Magic Shoes from Modified Days.
Yeah.
Elton Sawyer got him.
Chevrolet heavy impact. His car spins, gets tagged from behind.
Elton Sawyer is now your NASCAR director, I do believe.
Uniform machine. Boy, heavy.
Or one of them in the Cup side.
Buckshot Jones in a 00. And as they come off turn 4, Buckshot tries to get under. See, Mike goes up the racetrack a little bit, and Buckshot tries to take advantage, but Mike closes the hole, contact, and around he goes, and he goes up.
Not clear.
Right there, but as he comes.
Or Buckshot stuck his finger in the steak's mouth.
Kaboom. But Elton had nowhere to go.
And we see the crash going on behind.
It's one of my favorite sayings in racing when Bobby Allison said that in an interview. Gotta not stick your nose in, or you don't stick your finger in a snake's mouth. You know it's gonna close.
On pit road.
Caution flag again for the 5th time. It's a little bit different angle.
As we said, pit stops are going on, and there all the cars are in the pits. There we see David Green, Chad Little, and here comes Mike Wallace down pit road.
Steve Bird there with the headset behind the wall.
He made a good pit stop, whatever it was. You can see they're changing 4 tires on Benson.
And the 74 car still sitting. I'm sorry, that was the 44 still sitting there.
Ooh, somebody coming back out. Mike McLaughlin.
To the back pit. Tracy Leslie in the car number 72, Detroit gasket car.
We're on the back pit somewhere.
Grissom, Kevin LePage in the car number 71. So we'll sort it out after the pit stops and caution being shown for the 5th time tonight.
That Detroit gasket team my dad will go to set up for Mike Dillon through the winter from this season to the next.
Our speed world coverage
up to Atlanta. And after Atlanta, my dad went
filters.
to...
You can pay a little now or a lot later. Buy smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer
I think.
car. And by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone.
Oh, that's when he went to Fuller after the 72. The 72 will squeak in there in the middle.
Thank you very much.
He's like a suitcase Jake. That's the only way I can explain it.
For the 5th time.
Mom would say we couldn't boo anybody because she never knew who Dad would be working for the following season or week or month or whatever.
Off of the 4th turn, down the front straightaway, and of course McLaughlin spins around. Here comes Elton Sawyer, and then behind him a lot of other cars got involved as well.
Well, we had pit stops. Let's check in and see exactly what all happened down there, John Kernan.
Well, in Johnny Benson's case, they took on 4 tires, no chassis adjustment, but let me show you something. This is the catch can, the overflow. And remember last week at Michigan, showed you Ricky Rudd's, the probe wasn't long enough to open it up, which meant the gas couldn't flow into the fuel cell. Well, look at this. The probe actually broke off. Let me turn it around here. You can see where the probe pushed through. Steve Bird says he thinks that they got enough gas in the car to make it the rest of the way, but they are measuring everything very carefully right now. Kyle Petty.
You weigh the can and what's left.
Stevie Reeves is back in the pits again for the 2nd time. He had a horrendous pit stop. He come in running 2nd, I think. Had to cut. They had some trouble with the right rear.
Then
trouble with the left.
It was like 14 seconds for 2 cans of fuel.
Terrible pit stop. The 90 car changed 2 tires. Really, really smart move. It's been so hard to pass on this racetrack. We've seen it all night. Track position is critical here tonight. And these guys with the 90 car made a good decision, Bill Weber.
Kyle, Steve Grissom's in a familiar spot, pitting on the back stretch here at Bristol. He won from there in the spring. He just came in, got 4 tires, told his crew this car is good. We might be able to win this thing. A repeat similar to what we saw with Bobby Labonte last week in the Winston Cup Series. But here's another story developing back here. This is Hermie Sadler's pit. Hermie is very sick. They have been scrambling for a relief driver. Johnny Rumley, who is out of this race, is getting back in his suit. They're going to try and get him in the car. Here's a problem. Hermie's not very tall. Johnny Rumley is very tall and slender, so he might be the replacement, but he may not. And Hermie Sadler is also one of the drivers trying to turn things around back here.
Hey, Bill, you're not too tall, so maybe you could get in there. You got on the driving suit there.
I'll tell you, Ned, this is the perfect view right behind this wall where I can see them all go by. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, like in the military, you don't want to volunteer at Bristol International Raceway.
This is a good time for me to take another quick break.
For the 5th time tonight, and Chad Little, who do not pit, is our leader. Back in a moment. Green flag racing action, 8-lap caution period. Coming back to green, lap 119. That's about a lap and a half ago. And the car number 23, the Harris Teeter Ford, is the leader. He did not pit. That was Chad Little, who pitted around lap 40 for original problem equalized tire. He stayed out, and thus he is the leader.
And the fact that he's running on older tires than some others, there are several drivers who've gotten back in the lead lap. Phil Parsons lost a lap in the pit during this latest caution flag, but right now he's running in front of the leader, so if he could get a caution, he'd be back in it. Phil had a good run going, was up there in the top 10. And also, Jimmy Spencer has gotten one of his 2 laps back, and Jeff Jones up on the
Now we've got a Buckshot Jones to spun down the front straightaway, and some contact with the inside retaining wall, and the NASCAR official is waiting for Buckshot to move.
I don't know if he's going to be able to. Well, yeah, he is.
Well, now they've waved the caution flag. Halfway, they had the halfway flags up, and he just peeled one off and said, I'll wave it, and we'll put the caution out for the 6th time.
And then all those cars got a lap back.
Yeah, Phil Parsons got a lap back. Jeff Fuller got back in the lead lap. Spencer got one of his back, so now he is only 1 lap down.
There's Buckshot Jones, and let's see what happened to him.
There he is. That's Tim Fido in the 55, the yellow car. Buckshot right in the middle of 00, and that's Kevin LePage in 71.
And Buckshot comes up, and boy, he was jammed. He was right in the middle there, and he might have hit the car in front of him just a little bit and had to back off, and then got hit from the rear, maybe.
I think the 71 ran right up on the back bumper of that 00 car.
A little different angle this time.
Yeah.
Like he might have jammed the brakes on to try to keep from running in the back of Fidua and got tagged from behind. Well, there she blows.
Yeah, that's Old Faithful. That's the overflow for the radiator, and we can see that it is running a little bit warm.
And apparently they've been waiting for a driver change in the backstretch. Hermie Sadler, we are told, is ill, is not feeling well, and they have Johnny Rumley standing by back there. And Bill Weber, what's the status? Is Hermie going to get out of the car?
Jerry, he has radioed to his crew that he is going to come in. They are going to make the change. Johnny Rumley is standing by, and now Hermie is just radioed back in saying he's all right, and they're going to take a look at things, and Hermie said we're going to be okay for right now. So Hermie Sadler is saying that he's apparently okay, and now there's some discussion as to whether or not he is going to come back in. Meanwhile, Jimmy Spencer is in all the way at the other end of pit road. He just took on 2 right side tires, and he's going to head back out. He has told his crew that he has a good car, not as good as the leader, and now here comes Hermie Sadler. They are going to make the change. Johnny Rumley standing by as Hermie Sadler breaks the DeWalt Chevrolet Monte Carlo down pit road. He is going to climb out. The window net is already down. They climb into the car. The wheel is off. Johnny Rumley is standing by. Hermie Sadler pulled out of the car. Johnny Rumley climbs in quickly. Hermie sits down on the wall. Appears to be okay right now, taking off his gloves. Rumley is in. They put the wheel back on. They'll buckle him back in the car, and then they'll send it back out. Now, this is Hermie Sadler's parents' 32nd wedding anniversary today. He wanted to give them a real good present, guys, but this isn't what he had hoped for today. He's calmly sitting on the wall, and now he'll take over that role as car owner, and Johnny Rumley will handle the driving duties on the DeWalt Chevrolet.
And if you're wondering why they're so concerned about the difference in size and stature of those drivers, those seats fit like a glove, and you want to fit tightly and well here at Bristol International Raceway, or you'll get worn out in a hurry. Sadler out, and we're under caution. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, we're back. we were under green just for about a lap, and we're now under caution again for the 7th time tonight with 133 laps to go. And here's the car number 20 dropping down off the racetrack. There was heavy contact as Jimmy Spencer was trying to get his lap back in the Fina Lance Ford Thunderbird. Chad Little was the leader, but here's what happened. We'll show you it all.
That's Spencer in the blue 20. He goes in, he takes over the spot, no problem. But here comes Jeff Green in the 3. He's trying to take the lead in the Goodrich Chevrolet. Makes contact with Chad Little. Around goes Chad. He goes on. Now watch the 44. David Green is going to get hit by the 57. He spins out. And I don't know how many other cars hit this deal.
A little different angle. We might have alluded to the fact that it was Spencer involved. He did not get involved. He made the pass, but it was the 3 and 23 that had the activity there. Jeff Green and Chad Little.
And you see Mike Wallace comes right on by. He takes the lead. Chad, I don't think he hit anything too hard up there, so he stayed in the lead lap. He got it fired, and he's coming down pit road right now.
See David Green's car back sideways, pointing in the opposite direction. The car number 20 now is back in the lead lap as you see David Green, Slim Jim Chevy come down and get a tire change. Let's go to John Kernan.
Jerry, they'll change 4 tires, plus they're going to have to rip away some of that left rear fender, and doesn't look like any serious damage other than sheet metal damage. They'll come around to the left side now. Lug nuts coming off. They'll put on 2 fresh tires. There go the lug nuts here. Of course, you see no fuel. They should be good to go. Chad Little leaves pit road. Now David Green leaves pit road. Doesn't look like any serious damage. Just sheet metal. So take on 4 tires.
When he comes around.
Somebody said, see how bad that the left rear fender or quarter panel flaps as he goes around the racetrack.
That sounded like Bobby Labonte saying that. Of course, Bobby owns that Slim Jim Chevrolet. He might come back in just to have it pulled off.
And that's a real-time replay. You heard all
on the pace car, Bob.
in-car camera now with Jeff Green. City roof cam showing that tap.
And obviously when Jimmy Spencer got by Chad Little, it slowed Chad just a little bit, and Green had a head of steam coming off the turn. As we'll see it here, and just a slight tap as they hit off the turn, and around he goes.
Yeah, good call. Looks like Chad may have checked up to keep him running in the back of Spencer going into one there a little bit, and that's all it took as David Green was coming with.
Boy, oh boy, I certainly remember. Can you imagine having Jimmy drive for you at Bristol? And he's the nicest guy in the whole wide world, too. But as a crew, I remember that.
It's been a slugfest.
Heads up.
Tennessee, but they're going to have some more boxing action coming your way from Atlantic City, New Jersey, coming up next.
I really do remember that.
Up, at
my ex telling me we got to keep other crews away from Jimmy tonight. And they will have the FINA sponsorship the following year with Randy LaJoy, and actually Joy of Seating, the one that makes the racing seats today, is Randy LaJoy, and he is out of that same building still.
When that right front tire goes flat.
It's kind of neat.
Great job.
It's on Rolling Hills Road there in Mooresville, right near 150. Exit 36.
In the back, had a great race car down. He turned himself the lap down. Now, where is the guy chasing?
I think behind
the leader right there, Steve Grissom, the
Chick-fil-A. I'm trying to think what's on the corner. Like I said, there was nothing on the corner.
Only 8 cars on the lead lap.
And except for a Hardee's and a Shell station across the street, and then there was Rolling Hills Road, and they were the second or third shop in on the right, on the left.
Let's take a look at what cost probably Johnny Benson at least.
It used to be
even a win. John Kernan.
Brett Bodine's shop, I think. The 75 Staff America, the same people, which might be base also. I'm not sure.
And this is what happens. This is why.
That's Staff America. The Lipton Tea becomes Staff America. So it's all part of it.
This is why you can't stay out there very long with a tire going low. You have to come in, or if he'd have stayed out maybe a couple more laps, it would have blown. He would have been into the wall.
Yeah, he was lucky, John, that he caught that thing as quick as he did. And because you're right. He could have been in the wall and wouldn't have had much of a finish here tonight.
I think Steve was the fastest car, even though, you know, that
Being shown in the 5th position, and many
he didn't have to work to pass him.
losing some lap.
But he caught him pretty good.
They're crediting with being one lap down. You're right.
Here's Tim Fido in car number 55.
I think
3 cars in front of this battle, and Fido was being shown what? Back
that was the same shop that I had.
Good run here tonight.
The shop. That's that same shop that Joyous Seating's in. Base Motorsports it was. Randy bought the shop. That was the Fido car. This is set on 98. So they end up, the 74 will be Randy LaJoy with Staff America, but I think he has the Phenolube in between. The one that Moroso gives up.
Green stands to gain some ground, possibly being shown in 2nd position.
I have that picture because my son's in the background, my dad's in the background. My son used to help him with pit practice, holding the brake in the car when they'd practice pit stops. They didn't drive. And it was just
and others, Jason,
in the shop or parking lot or whatever.
Catch up. But this guy can win.
Yeah, that shop's still there.
Things continue on.
It's one of the prettiest ones, I thought. It had a nice lobby and glass, you could see them working. It was a small one, but it was nice.
Johnny Benson just driving by cars that are in the 3rd spot, but with those fresh right side tires. His car.
I liked Penske's too.
On the racetrack.
Penske's was on the way, like across from the Auto Racing Hall of Fame.
This is
North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame.
Between Fido and
Museum.
Terry Labonte, number 14.
Yep. I volunteered there in 95 when I first moved to the area. I got to meet Tim Flock, which was the best. The Flock family and the France family invented NASCAR.
And right now, this is about the only battle on the racetrack.
Oh, you poor thing. My fan. It's okay. You just knocked the fan down. It's all right. I think she was snoring and kicked the fan. It happens a lot. I lean it up against the cabinet.
Yeah, they're checking out the air pack.
She wakes up and kicks it. Small fan.
Kyle, what's going on down there?
Let me
Right, Skelly. She looked at me all half days. She's half asleep.
NASCAR had to watch it on TV to get a good.
Uh-oh.
They had a couple of their officials over here looking at it. They're not too happy about this, guys. Benny, you might have got somebody in a little bit of trouble here, buddy.
Here's Chad Little taking a position. That's more points. That's 5 more points that he got around Terry Labonte.
I often wondered if that wasn't staged-ish. Like
in a battle out there. That is
they wanted them to try it or something. I don't know. Maybe they were being
in the car number 29 before showing you
innovative.
in the lead lap.
NASCAR doesn't like innovation too much.
Tommy used to the veteran back in 7th in the car number 6 as they go around the Hermie Sadler car with Johnny Rubley.
But Dad won without innovating. Well, Dad innovated a lot, but he won without cheating.
Jason Keller.
He never had no trick this or that or lead or
White flag.
You know, crazy things like that.
Keller is 2 laps down in 16th position.
Final lap for Steve Grissom in the Channel Lock Chevrolet.
Grissom would become the only Busch driver ever to do the Bristol double. Only driver ever to win back-to-back.
Hey, how about that, boys? Hey!
Hey, Steve Grissom. He was a promising baseball and football player, to be honest. He had scholarships, but decided to go racing.
Let's go to Bill.
He's a really nice guy.
And I'm here with Tommy Morgan. And
from what I, met of him.
But we're standing here on pit road. You're the only guy left. Congratulations.
Thank you. I give credit to the whole Diamond Ridge Motorsport team, Chevrolet, Channel Lock, the good Lord, and AC and everybody else I missed. I'm sorry.
How about that driver? He did a heck of a job. He had a couple.
Plus Steve, he is a hell of a driver. He does anything he can do with that car. Worked out perfect tonight.
And Steve Grissom wins back-to-back wins.
That's his name, Tommy.
For the Channel Lock Chevrolet.
I thought I said Tommy earlier.
Talking about Carolyn and talking about Carolyn Bechtel, who is the wife of the car owner, Gary Bechtel. We'll come back and talk to the winner.
It was really cool to see Carolyn and Gary both at the track, one or the other.
And
Steve Grissom climbs out, and we'll listen.
He won the spring race, and Carolyn was there, but my dad wasn't working with him in the spring. I don't think. He was with Moroso then.
Steve, I think that little cold shower there probably felt pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I tell you, I'd like to have it again, man. I tell you, my hat's off this crew. It's pretty amazing. Before we qualified after our last practice, these guys on the Channel Lock team changed 4 shocks, a couple springs, sway bar, moved some lead around, and the car was pretty awesome tonight.
Now, this was not the same car that you won with back in the spring, but it looks like you guys found out something about Bristol.
That's true. It's not the same car, but the guys put the same thing back in the car. And I tell you, our car owners were, Carolyn was here with us in the spring, and Gary's here with us this time. So it was pretty neat to win one for Gary and Channel Lock. I tell you, this people are super. They've supported us and been with us now for a while, and nothing like winning. I don't care, win's a win.
Hey, I tell you what, how does this get you ready for tomorrow night, huh?
Well, it sure can't hurt us. I tell you, the guys had good.
My dad's in the way background, like
kind of found
he went just left of the bush.
The daytime to the
beer.
nighttime, and that'll definitely help us for tomorrow night.
All right.
He's only 5'8". I'm only 5'2".
To the second place finisher, Jeff
on a good day.
Kyle Petty.
I'm 5'2", soaking wet.
Here at the gas pump, they filled his car up with gas, take it through inspection, just filling up with Gatorade right here. But you had a great run. Hey, it's hard to believe that you can run that car here at Bristol and not get any more dents or scratches in than that. I've never seen the 3-car look that good after a race.
Jeff Green is always
one little scrape down there, 1 and 2 with
smiling.
Cut back across in front of you a little bit, but
seemed to me
pretty decent deal for you.
It was. Tony and these guys, they worked their tail off this afternoon to get this car working right. Still a little loose at first, and we come in,
feels like
got spun out.
Our high school class or whatever. We were in that high school class.
Good Ranch and Food City, they sponsored this race here tonight. I was really wanting to win it for them tonight, but our day's coming.
It's definitely coming. I can tell you that. Dale Earnhardt wouldn't have put him in the seat if he didn't think so. Bill Weber?
Okay, I'm here with Chad Little. What a wild night you had out there, but you still came home fourth.
I am just wore out, you know. I don't know how the Cup guys can go 500 laps here, I swear. You know, I'm young, too. I'm just wore out. We had a decent day. We had to work hard, and you know, we had a little mishap at the start of the race there.
My goodness, he's so dehydrated.
Our tire equalized.
About to faint.
We had to change it, and that got us behind. And then, you know, I got spun out and
probably all the way
got on the wall a little bit. So we just kept coming back, and you know, it was a really great day for Harris Teeter and Bear, and especially the guys on the team worked really hard for this. And I mean, just shows it is a good team. I want to say hi to Greg and Mark. They're back home, and Tracy, and I mean, I'm happy. I'm just really tired right now.
Yeah, but if I go over there and find you a ride for tomorrow, you'll probably be happy to go 500 laps.
Well, you got to let me know here before I go home, because if you don't, I might be busy by the pool tomorrow.
Okay, that's Chad Little.
Chad Little able to sacrifice or basically come home in a top 5 finish, finishes 4th. Hey, remember, Top Rank Boxing coming up next from Atlantic City, New Jersey. We'll come back and recap this slugfest in a moment. Our Speed World coverage of the Food City 250 has been brought to you by Pep Boys. For quality parts, accessories, and service, come to Pep Boys, America's automotive super center. By Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. And by Taco Bell, tacos, burritos, nachos, and a whole lot more.
I'll be uploading or exporting this to YouTube after the race. Actually, I want to
led 23 of 250 laps. There were
show you another video if I can find it.
And the average speed, 87.234 miles per hour.
Since we're on the subject,
Johnny Benson led the most laps, but folks, had trouble late in the race.
Jeff Fuller will win the Rookie of the Year, I believe he will.
Steve Grissom made a big move, 32nd to 28th. Jeff Fuller, highest finishing.
He won the Australia Cup thing.
Let's check in.
That's how he got this right.
3rd spot.
A great run for Tim Fedewa in 3rd, and you know, you can always tell a budding young superstar by his entourage, and boy, you got quite an entourage behind you, Tim Fedewa.
Yeah, we got all the Dynamark Security Center people here. It's their first ride with us in the 55 car, and we're happy to have them with us. They're going to be with us a couple more times this year, and you know, it was a good run for the whole DR team. We had a good car all day, and we knew it, but we didn't think we had a winning car, but it just kept chugging along, and had good tire, good pit stop, and real happy for us, you know. Little Joe's Autos and Race Scan, Ford really run good today.
Do you have any really close calls out there tonight?
Yeah, we had a couple, you know. I think everybody here that raced tonight had a couple close calls. This is Bristol, but, you know, like I said, you either have a good day or a bad day here, and we had a good day finally.
Hey, we even had some close calls down here in the pits. Let me tell you about that. Now let's go hear from Johnny Benson, the points leader, who's standing by with Bill Weber.
And he came home 12th. He lost 33 points to Chad tonight. You're ahead by 29. Your reflections on this fun evening here at Bristol?
Well, it's pretty exciting anyways. Lifting Team Monte Carlo, I'll tell you what, I don't think there's anything here that could have beat it, but one of them deals, I just got ran a little high coming off 2 and got a flat.
And then you did have the tire going down, and obviously fuel was going to be a question for you down the stretch.
Well, I don't know. We could have made it down to fuel. We had to throw a brake on overfill cam, but we got enough gas in, I believe. And, you know, like I say, Base Motorsports team did a good job. There ain't anybody going to touch us, but it's one of them deals. And I knew it. I mean, I could feel it starting to get a bad push. I says, man, that can't be happening. We can't be having the tire go down. And sure enough, it did. But we kept it off the wall, so 12th, I guess, is better than wrecking it.
Okay, Johnny Benson comes home 12th. He's still the Busch Series Grand National Division points leader, guys.
And he could have lost a lot more. Remember, Speed Week coming up later tonight, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll have all the action with Bob Jenkins. That's the fastest half hour in television. When we come back, we'll look at the full field rundown, as well as the updated Busch Grand National Series point standings. Johnny Benson still leads, but by a scant 29 points. Back at Bristol International Raceway, the Food City 250 is history. Steve Grissom has picked up his second win of the 1995 season, sweeping the Bristol High Banks. Jeff Green finishes second. Tim Fiedel and Chad Little lead the Ford contingent in third and fourth, and Terry Labonte finishes fifth, rounding out the top 5. David Green is in sixth spot. Tommy Houston from 32nd starting spot. Good run for the 50-year-old Hickory native in seventh. Kevin LePage from 17th spot in eighth. Jimmy Spencer coming from 2 laps down. Boy, what a run he had tonight, finishing in ninth. And Jeff Fuller, leading rookie contender, finishes 10th.
Bobby Dotter, Johnny Benson salvages a 12th place. Phil Parsons, Stevie Reeves, our pole sitter, finishes 14th. And Rocking Rodney Combs, after the damage that he had, finishes 15th.
16th through 20th, Jason Keller, after having to make a green flag pit stop, lost a couple of laps. Mike Wallace also made a green flag pit stop, finishes 17th. Tracy Leslie, 18th. Hermie Sadler's car comes home 19th with Johnny Rumley at the wheel, and Brad Teague came home in 20th.
21 through 25, Mike McLaughlin, Randy LaJoy, Buckshot Jones, Joe Bessie.
I don't think Spencer did too good.
25th.
Now we'll go back 26 through 30 when we find Elton Sawyer. He and Mike McLaughlin met here at the start-finish line. Robbie Reiser, Curtis Markham, Larry Pearson, we saw his crash, and also Kenny Wallace finishes 30th.
And 31st through 35th, Patty Moise, Rick Wilson, Jim Bowen, Ed Barrier, and Johnny Rumley.
And rounding out the field, 36, Doug Hevron, who broke that ankle a week ago in practice up at Michigan. Doug able to make it home in 36th spot. Now, we promised you we'd look at the point standings, and we will. But meanwhile, here's a guy who had a good run tonight standing by with John Kernan.
He finished fifth, but in the Winston Cup race for tomorrow night, the Goodies 500 starting on the outside of the front row with Terry Labonte, and you look really fresh for a guy who's been at it since, what, the wee morning hours?
This morning. It's been a long day, but I'll tell you what, our MW1 Chevrolet ran pretty good tonight. We're a little bit too tight there, and I guess we wore out the front tires at the end of the race there, but it was still a good run for us, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
Yeah, I thought you had the pole there until Mark knocked you off, huh?
Well, you know, we were the first car out there, and I didn't know if that was going to be good or not. Sometimes the track gets a little bit quicker. I knew Mark was going to be tough. Him and I were about the 2 fastest in practice there, and, you know, he got us, but that's the way it goes.
All right, well, go get some rest. Congratulations on a good finish tonight, Terry.
Thank you.
All right, Terry Labonte, let's go to Bill.
Okay, and I'm here with David Green, who came home 6th. A good run for you, a wild night as well.
Yeah, Bill, it was good to finish one, you know, and we were sitting real good and had a chain reaction over here and got turned around, so we had to go to the back. But, you know, Beecher there at the shop finally got us some engines going. Terry's got one, and I've got one that he's worked on a little bit, and we took that gear out of it like we talked and might have went a little too far, but my car was really good, and it's good to finish one again. But we were okay, but you know how Bristol is. You get one little inch out of shape, and I got rear-ended a little bit, but it's a good night.
Obviously, you guys are looking for some momentum. You really want to salvage the season here.
Just about anything, you know, and you know, the way qualifying went, I was really disappointed. I'm glad for Stevie and Ed Whitaker and all that whole bunch, but about my luck, you know, Stevie pulled off a heck of a lap, and I can't even win the pole no more. So that's a good night, and Bristol's tough, and you know, we just are gradually getting back on this V8 thing. You know, it requires a little bit of different setup, and I'm not sharp enough yet to tell them what I need, but we're working on it.
David Green comes home 6th. Let's go to Kyle Petty.
Well, I'm sitting here with Mike McLaughlin. they used you for a ping pong ball out there 2 or 3 times. Like you said, you missed a couple of wrecks, but that 00 car, we watched you from pit road, and he had you sideways 4 or 5 laps before he ever turned you all the way around.
Yeah, it's a tough racetrack. You need patience, and some people just don't have patience, and you can get in trouble in a big hurry, and that's what happened to us.
Well, that's why I tell you what, that happened a lot tonight, and I'm sure it's going to happen a lot tomorrow. John Kernan?
Well, I'm standing by with the 7th place finisher, Tommy Houston, the last car in the lead lap. Tommy, I tell you what, Benny's all the time talking about the old guys running well, and you had a really good run tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially starting 32nd in the field. And, you know, I was just patient, come on up through there and kind of riding along with Terry LeBonnie and David Green, some of those guys. And, you know, Red Devil Ford Thunderbird, he come out there pretty good. So it was fast, just got pushing real bad. I think everybody did.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That's a 7th place finish for Tommy Houston, Jerry.
Good run for Tommy and for the old guys. Let's hear it for the old guys. Now let's take a look at the point standings. Johnny Benson just 29 points over Chad Little. Hey, Jeff Green makes a big jump from 5th to 3rd. Considering that runner-up finish tonight, Mike McLaughlin is in there at 4th spot, and Jason Keller loses a couple of spots by virtue of his finish tonight. He's currently in 5th spot.
Let's go 6 through 10. Larry Pearson.
Wow, Jeff's in 10th as a rookie. That's good.
Jeff Fuller moves up to the 10th spot.
In with veterans.
After 20 events, of course, there are 6 races in the Busch Series competition, including the Gatorade 200 coming up next week at Darlington, and we will be there. But how about racing's lineup coming up later, tomorrow, I should say, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, NASCAR today. And, of course, NASCAR today at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. And then live flag-to-flag coverage of the Goodies 500 from right here at Bristol International Raceway. Mark Martin, how about what a brand-new qualifying track record. He will start alongside Terry Labonte.
By the way, now, that's not the same. That's not the same show. That's 2 entire different shows tomorrow.
I got to look those up.
And another new show at 7.
What were they?
Don't forget, coming up next from Bally's Park Place in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Terry Labonte.
By the
NASCAR today's. Okay, I'll have to look them up.
Different shows.
I'm going to do these other races. This is the 96 one tomorrow, because it run a little late, even though Bristol's a long races, and this is the one I'm gonna show you real quick as an outro. It's only a 1 minute and 41 seconds. I've never seen it before, but this is where I volunteered when they first opened up. It's across the street from Penske, and was across the street from Moroso. It's now Roush's Engine Shop, and yeah, I would go here and work for nothing, just for fun, and talk to people about race, and I guess I kind of like to do it. But here's a bonus, and I will talk to you soon.
I used to run with the Navajo. Now I cut trees with Inca-Though. I traded my horses in for gold. Oh. You brought us in when we hadn't a friend. Taught us what it meant to be men. Saved us over and over again. Though we never really knew how it ended, I knew your goals were sensible, your vision indispensable. I won't be forgetting you. Stall. So I ran back in between the walls.
No matter what your dream is, Spectrum Business can connect you to it. That's life unlimited.
Marijuana mega corporations wrote Amendment 3 to entrench their monopoly. Vote no.
All right, NASCAR adventurers, we are back to my favorite racing museum. This is the North Carolina Auto Racing Hall of Fame Museum. Right off the bat, check it out. Smith's Auto Parts, number 94. Been sitting in the office talking with the owner here, Don Miller, who at one time was Rusty Wallace's boss. But not only was Don Miller in there hanging out in his office, today his very good friend, Mr. Bobby Allison, was in there hanging out, meeting fans, signing autographs. So I spent a few moments chit-chatting with both of them. Glad to see Mr. Bobby Allison doing well, getting out the best he can as we come on the fabulous Hudson Hornet. Herb Thomas, number 92. Let's go ahead and turn on the flashlight so we can get a good view inside. I haven't been here inside for a while, so figured today I would come on in earlier. We were up in Statesville at Legacy Motor Club, seeing what they had going on. Not much has changed at Legacy. I'll go ahead and tell you now. I was going to keep it a surprise, but tomorrow I will be meeting with Eric Jones. So stand by for that cool video coming up. And that means, of course, we'll have some Eric Jones autographed hero cards to give away. But don't enter yet. We're not ready for that just yet. We're going to save that for the Eric Jones video. Number 4, True Value Schrader Dodge. And speaking of Rusty, there's Rusty's number 66. I want to take this opportunity once again to send out a shout out to Aiden, 14-year-old. Little under the weather, dealing with some medical issues at the moment. So we wanted to say hello to Aiden. Get well soon. Thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family. Thank you all for watching our videos. Not just Aiden and his family, but everybody watching this one right here. Thank you guys and girls for watching and continuing to support us. We really do appreciate it. As we always say, for the algorithms, please make sure you like this video. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to our channel. We broke the 4,000.
Thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm not going to play this whole video. It looked like it is a decent video for sure. I will continue to watch this on my own. But for this gentleman who he went through all the trouble. His name is DJ Wayne Adventures. He's got 5,000 followers, subscribers, and I would definitely hit subscribe on that. And just to let you know, this Winston logo on the floor, I was there when they poured that, which was really cool because this back was not totally open to the public at that time. So it was a great way to be involved in motorsports. If you ever wanted to get involved in motorsports, it's a good entry-level way. If you can live near a museum or a car show or whatever, they're always taking volunteers to help greet visitors and sell souvenirs and such. So I was very honored to work for this. It's owned by Don Miller, who is involved with Penske at the time I worked there. And there's lots of good information on YouTube about that. And thank you to all my YouTube followers and watchers. My numbers are going up, and it's just like, wow. Thank you. I'm glad I'm an interesting soul to somebody with some old racing stories. I'm that old lady that'll tell you that same story over and over again. But I love racing, so it's allowed. Anyway, like and subscribe to this guy. Like and subscribe to mine. I'll upload this in just a little bit. I'll go online again either tomorrow morning early again, like 6 a.m., or Wednesday. It depends, because I gotta take a nap. I gotta be a moderator this evening on YouTube for some people. And I really appreciate y'all hanging out. It's been a pleasure of mine to do that and have you all around. I'm going to quickly show you my YouTube channel so that you don't get confused. Yeah, RJ Williams, 8:45 tonight. I'll be modding on that channel. Give him a follow for sure. It's a notification listed on, and this is the team, of course, that I try to be a fan of. I never got to be a fan. Like I said, we weren't allowed to boo for anyone. We could cheer for anyone, but we couldn't boo. So it's good to be a fan all of a sudden. And here is my channel. And I've tried to see, it'll be Miss T Motorsports. It'll be up top. That'll be me. And this Vibes is just all around my Florida area. My travels with my puppies and my niece puppy dogs. And it's just a really cool area, too, as far as my other hobby of wildlife stuff. And birds. A bird watcher. But yeah, this is my life. And like, subscribe, follow. Thank you, YouTube. I've been jumping every day, and I appreciate y'all. So all I can tell you at this point is see you at the races. Bye, love. Kisses and smooches and hugs, and be nice. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. Bye-bye.